Welcome back. In this episode, Democrats fail again as a top Trump operative sets the record straight on inflation. Maxine Waters gets exposed over her cozy history with Fidel Castro. AOC is caught on camera admitting, or at least appearing to admit, that Democrats have to hurt Americans more. Hakeem Jeffries refuses to defend Americans over insurance companies. Jason Crow gets humiliated by CBS for pushing military defiance, and new evidence shows Republicans lost 6 House seats through census manipulation, and they now want phone-based voting fraud. Interesting. Stay with me until the very end when I'll be reacting live to your comments in the chat, so keep them coming. And don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share this video. Let's get started with our first story.
Well, and banana prices are up almost 7%, coffee prices up nearly 19%. Isn't the fact that you're rolling back tariffs an admission that ultimately they do drive up prices for consumers?
Kristen, how much does your arm weigh?
That I do not know.
Exactly, but you know how much you weigh. You get on the scale every morning. Inflation is a composite number, and we look at everything. So we try to push down the things we can control. And as I said, that we are working on the energy prices are down, and everything flows from that. And I think we're going to see these other prices come down. And again, many of these goods were part of trade deals with countries that have been in the works for months.
Sure.
Kristen Walker brought the typical Democrat talking point that inflation is Trump's fault, but Scott Bessent clearly destroyed it in 30 seconds flat. Now, he goes on to break down a few other factors, which many times when you listen to talking heads, especially the ones who are left-leaning, they sound like the adjustments to the economy happen overnight, and it only lets you see that what they believe the economics operates by is by individuals in dark rooms setting prices and so on. But that's communism, that's socialism. Okay, you're operating in a capitalist economy, and the market determines all of these things, and sometimes the adjustments take time to happen.
Very quickly, come down in a matter of weeks, months?
Sorry?
Weeks or months? You said the prices will come down in weeks or months?
Some are going to come down in weeks, some are going to come down in months. We just had in terms of affordability, we just had the best month in the housing market due to affordability, due to increased supply in October, best October in 3 years. Best month since February.
Let me ask you.
So there he is. He explained it clearly, and clearly, as much as they try to make it seem like Trump's policies are the problem, it's clear that many of the things that have been seen in the economy have actually been an offshoot or stuff that rolled over from Biden's bad economy. All right, so we're going to keep watching it. And of course, if anything changes, we're going to be the first to kind of jump up to say, hey, this was actually Trump's fault. He made this mistake. Now, question for you in the chat. Do you think Democrats lie about inflation because they don't understand economics, or they actually do and they just simply do that in order to make Trump look bad? Let me know what you think in the chat. And speaking of Democrats who don't understand reality, wait till you see what Maxine Waters and AOC were caught doing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If there is someone who has seen the horrors of socialism up close within the Democratic Party is in the House, and it's the Honorable Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And I would love for you to support this resolution specifically because, Madam Waters, for decades you traveled to Cuba dozens of times to visit Fidel Castro personally, whom you consider your friend. Congresswoman Waters was in Havana, and she saw the destruction of biblical proportions that Castro caused on that island, who at the time in 1960 had the highest per capita income in the Western Hemisphere.
Really?
At that time, Madam Waters knew that thousands and thousands of Cubans were escaping on a raft, exposing their lives and their children to be eaten by the sharks.
Now, it's fascinating to watch how socialism and communism emerges. It never emerges in countries that are struggling economically. It never does. It waits until capitalism creates success and abundance, and then it shows up to feign, oh, look, there's a bunch of people who don't earn as much as these other people. The solution to making sure people earn equally is communism or socialism. It's really all about envy. And as long as you can gin up the sentiment of envy, where people who don't have as much hate those who do have, you know, the politics of the country is ripe for socialism or communism to, you know, to take over.
She knew that Afro-Cubans were being beaten on the streets of Havana, discriminated against by Fidel Castro, Mr. Speaker. And for that reason, I am bringing up all these facts, because Madam Waters knew that the Cuban jails were full of political prisoners, and the Cubans did not have the same privileges that we are having right now to speak freely. At that time, Madam Waters...
Maxine Waters is melting down when confronted with dozens of private visits to Fidel Castro, you know, and of course she called him a friend. And now she's trying to censor the accusation, keeping us from hearing everything.
Never raised her voice to denounce the horrors of socialism, Mr. Speaker. For that reason, I am asking Madam Waters.
For what purpose the lady from California seeks recognition?
I move to take her words down.
Why? Why?
Order. The House will be in order. The lady from California, for what purpose do you rise?
I rise to take down her words.
Why? Why?
Lady from Florida, please be seated.
What on earth? Why?
Ask the clerk to please report the words.
Democrats, the party of free speech, okay? She's censoring this statement, which of course she didn't say is a lie. But clearly, this actually happened. Now, imagine a Republican visiting Pinochet and calling him a friend, okay? And you know what would happen, okay? Mainstream media would burn the entire country down, okay? They were like, oh, look at these people. How dare they represent us, okay? They don't deserve to be in Congress and so on. Now, here's a question. Let me know in the chat or in the comment section. Should any elected official with ties to a communist dictator be removed from office? What do you think? All right. And we have to have these, we have to be intellectually honest. You know, many times people just throw out an answer that is convenient for their side or the side that they support. Should anyone, any elected official with ties to a communist dictator be removed from office? Because we know what happens under those circumstances. Now, AOC, in this next video, admitted out loud, at least people framed it as such, that Democrats need to hurt Americans more to force them to fold on policy. Now, we're going to watch this video and you tell me what you think she meant by that.
Is that the lesson that they're learning is that Democrats are weak, and that next time we just need to hurt working people and working Americans more to get them to fold. And I don't want them to learn that lesson.
All right, so she's talking about the recent government shutdown, and that what Republicans learned is that Democrats are weak, and that she now says we need to hurt the American people in order to get them to fold. Now, grammar and language is a very funny thing. Now, what I think was going on is she was framing it as saying, here's what the Republicans were doing. They believe Democrats are weak, and we, Republicans, should hurt the American people so that the Democrats will go, oh, we'll fold. Now, if the Republicans hadn't raised 13 motions to vote that the shutdowns should end, and 13 times the Democrats rejected or voted no, that the government should stay closed, I would believe her. If the Democrats were the ones to say, look, the American people are hurting, let's vote, and then let's figure out a way to get our policies passed, and the Republicans were the ones who were voting no, I would believe her. So the narrative to the Democrat, or for the Democrats, or that they're trying to push, doesn't make any sense. Now, some people are out there sharing the video saying they're saying the quiet part out loud. No, it's simply the same Democrat playbook. All right. So if you've seen this video going around trying to make it look like the Democrats were the ones saying they want to hurt the American people, that's not what this video is saying, but the way they voted said that. All right. So let's just keep it straight. Let's not do what dishonest people do, trying to claim that people said something that they weren't actually saying. So you see how I cleaned up the narrative, or cleaned up the video, and said this is what she was saying. However, here's what they did. And if they did that, then I think their actions were very clearly evident that they didn't care that American people were suffering. They didn't even want to vote to release funds for the military and for federal workers to get paid. They wanted people to suffer. They kept using the word leverage, 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 because as long as the American people were suffering, they could say, hey, look, the Republicans are the ones doing it. Now, question, okay, and let me know this in the chat. Do Democrats actually want Americans to suffer or score in order to score political wins? Okay, do Democrats want Americans to suffer in order to score political wins? Let me know in the chat. I know what I think. All right, let me know what you think in the chat. Now, Trump has been trying to redirect billions away from insurers back to the American people. Now, here's Hakeem Jeffries responding to this move by President Trump. And let's see what he he says when he is confronted by reporters.
Mr. Leader, President Trump is now calling on Congress to shift the hundreds of billions in Obamacare subsidies from the insurance companies and instead send the money directly to the people. What are your thoughts on this? Do you support that? And is there any action underway to make this happen?
Donald Trump is unserious about protecting the health care of the American people, and we've seen that over the last 41 days.
Okay, so the answer is a simple yes or no. Is it a good idea that President Trump should move these billions that are going to insurance companies? You know that the Democrats continue to say that the Republicans are the party of the billionaires. However, how come President Trump is the one trying to move away these billions from the insurance companies and wants to put it in the hands of the American people so that the American people can choose their health care? It's been said, and I've seen it repeated several times, that whenever a private citizen goes to a doctor or goes to a walk-in clinic and offers to pay cash, that the cash bill is actually lower than the insurance bill, right? I've seen it happen as well privately. So here we have Democrats swearing that they care about working families, but when Trump wants to give money directly back to working families, Jeffrey sides with the corporations. Isn't that interesting? All right. Now, look, you have two eyes and a brain. This is a simple yes or no answer. But then again, as always, we always find out that these people are actors, they're politicians. They will never give credit where credit is due because they fear it will make them look bad. All right. I will call out people who are on the Republican side when they do it. I'll call out people on the Democrat side when they do it. I rarely find people on the Republican side doing it. If you have, please send me the videos. I've watched these videos where the thumbnail is, Republicans crash out, and when you watch the video, there is no crashing out. There's none. It's just someone who just wants a simple response to a question on the Congress floor to be a crash out. Okay, so they basically misrepresent things. Now, do you think, and this is what I would like you to let me know in the chat, do you think that Jeffries protects the American people more or corporations more based on what you've seen so far? Okay, let me know your answers in the chat. Now, for our next story, it's a follow-up on the congressperson who's been charged with stealing $5 million in FEMA funds. All right, this was money meant for the American people who were victims of a natural disaster, and she spent it on herself. Now, the report is still circulating. There's still plenty of dirt coming out on her, and the DOJ is still doubling down that she's definitely going to be prosecuted, and it looks like she's going to be spending a few years in jail.
Meanwhile, a Democratic congresswoman could be facing 53 years behind bars after she was indicted by a grand jury in Florida yesterday. Congresswoman Cherfilus-McCormick is accused of stealing $5 million in FEMA disaster funds and using it to bankroll her 2021 congressional campaign. Mark Meredith is live in Washington with more on this. Good morning, Mark.
Griff, this is a wild story. Good morning to you. The Democratic congresswoman is one of 4 people accused of stealing taxpayer money to help win an election. The indictment handed down in Miami offers some stunning details about an alleged scheme also under review by the House Ethics Committee. The Justice Department charging 46-year-old Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick of stealing disaster funds meant to help with COVID vaccinations, then laundering the money so she could run for Congress. Her brother, a political operative, and an accountant are also facing charges.
Now, these are the same people who lecture the American people on protecting democracy and saying that Republicans are corrupt. Okay, great, you said it, but how many indictments on corruption have we seen over the last few months from the Democrat side? How many did we see during the Biden administration? We saw George Santos, okay, that's one for about 4 years. If I missed any, let me know in the chat. One person in 4 years. In the last 10 months, I've lost count of how many Democrats have been caught engaging in fraud. Just last week, we had Governor Gavin Newsom's former personal assistant or executive assistant or whatever it is she's called, being indicted again for corruption. Again, look, the Democrats talk a big game about being the party for the everyman, but they are the party of the billionaire class. They are the party of the corporations, and they are not the party of that isn't corrupt. Well, both parties engage in corruption to a degree, but Democrats are like, they lead the pack. They lead the pack.
The Attorney General says the Congresswoman conspired to steal $5 million, then tried to hide the money through multiple accounts to disguise its source. In a statement overnight, Pam Bondi said no one is above the law, least of all powerful people who rob taxpayers for personal gain. We will follow the facts in this case and deliver justice. Within the last hour, Fox obtained a statement from the Congresswoman's office. Cherfilus-McCormick is denying the charges, writing, "This is an unjust, baseless sham indictment, and I am innocent. The timing alone is curious and clearly meant to distract from far more pressing national issues. From day one, I have cooperated with every lawful request, and I will continue to do so until this matter is resolved." We're hearing from fellow Florida Congressman Greg Steube. He issued a blistering statement over this, saying, "This is one of the most egregious abuses of public trust I have ever seen. Stealing $5 million in taxpayer disaster funds from FEMA, of all places, is beyond indefensible. Stubbe says today he plans to file a motion to censure his colleague and also hopes to expel her from Congress. We got a camera up on Capitol Hill, Griff. We're trying to catch her if she pops in to her office today.
I don't think that motion to censure will pass. As usual, the Democrats will defend their own, and then you will also have Republicans running cover for them. We're going to have this play out. It's going to be yet another, nothing burger when it comes to censoring her. But let's see what happens. I am open to be surprised. Now, let me know what you think in the chat. Now, keep the chat coming. I'm going to respond to the chat. All right. By the time we're done with covering these stories, I'll go through all of your comments and I will respond. Now, let me know in the chat. Okay, should she get the maximum sentencing if convicted? All right. Let me know, because when someone steals $5 million that are meant to go to disaster relief for victims of catastrophic disasters, like, what kind of person is that? So let me know if you think that she should get the maximum sentencing if convicted. Now, Democrats weren't just failing on corruption. They pushed the most dangerous message of the year, telling soldiers to defy orders. Now, we have Representative Crow getting destroyed on national TV for trying to justify Democrats' video encouraging military insubordination. They've been making the rounds, trying to get people to feel sorry for them and to support their insanity. So here's how that turned out.
Let's get to the content of what you had in that video you released, because there are also 15 House Republicans who are also veterans who released a video, including a retired 3-star Marine Corps General, Jack Bergman. Take a listen to this.
Troops, listen up. Any service member who refuses a lawful order is subject to court-martial for violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
We study what's lawful and what's not lawful, and the Democrats stunt insinuating that they're illegal or unconstitutional orders. It's downright dangerous.
It is corrosive. It is meant to weaken our country and weaken the military.
How do you respond to these allegations from your colleagues, fellow veterans, that what you have put out there is weakening and corrosive to the military?
Well, these unfortunately are some of Trump's core supporters that are rallying behind the president, and they know better. They know exactly the difference between lawful versus unlawful. We were very clear in the video that what we're talking about is unlawful orders. You have the president's spokesperson going into a press conference this past week and saying that we called for people to disobey lawful orders. They're simply lying because the truth is unacceptable to them.
So when you watch the video that they produced, and they're banking on you being stupid. They're banking on you being stupid, ignorant, and being partisan. All right, because whenever you see people speak like this so confidently, they believe that their base are either stupid, insane, unhinged, or just partisan. And I listened to it, and honestly, I couldn't believe that they could put out a video like that, encouraging servicemen to defy what they perceive as unlawful orders. And whenever they're asked, okay, so what do you think about this? None of them has come out to say what unlawful orders they've seen issued by the Trump administration or by President Trump himself. All right. So it is crazy to watch. It's frustrating, it's upsetting, but it's more of the same. Okay. He was asked a question and he's still saying these are Trump's core supporters. What did they say that was inaccurate? And what did you say that has facts backing it?
It's unacceptable. We wanted to start a conversation, and we did, about the dangerous rhetoric this president is using and the threats that he's made to use our military in an unlawful way.
Specifically what?
Well, send troops into Chicago, send troops into polling stations, kill terrorists' families, arrest and execute members of Congress.
He hasn't done any of those things. He hasn't sent troops to polling stations. He hasn't sent troops to execute. Anyway, Um, this is going to be a very interesting thing to watch. Of course, Democrats are covering for their colleagues because they're all in on it. They wanted Trump to react. Trump reacted. They said, "Oh, look, he's trying to kill us." You know, he simply said, "What you guys did is sedition, and usually by law is punishable by death." Oh, look, he's trying to kill us. These guys are unhinged, dishonest, or they're simply liars and actors, right? So choose your pick. Now, let me know in the chat, okay? Is encouraging the military to ignore Trump an act of sedition? All right. Now, if you don't know, Google it. Use ChatGPT. All right, but let me know what you think in the chat, because there are people who believe that encouraging people to disobey, encouraging servicemen, armed forces to disobey your commander-in-chief, as long as his last name is Trump, is a good thing. Wait until there's a major crisis and you need the commander-in-chief to issue orders and the chain of command to run the way it's meant to. I'm taking a course in the U.S. Constitution. Started it on Friday. No, on Saturday, I think. No, on Saturday. And it's fascinating to listen to the powers that are given to the commander-in-chief and how the checks and balances in Congress keep him from going overboard. And those guardrails are still holding today. What Democrats keep saying is that, the guardrails don't exist. They still do. And if you need to learn more about the Constitution, please go ahead and take the course by Hillsdale College. Okay, it is amazing to watch, and it will help you kind of understand the entire thing that is being framed by the Democrat Party. Now, Goodlander, one of the suspects, we saw her in the video. She refuses to name a single illegal order because none exists.
What illegal orders are you urging troops to refuse, and what do you hope they take away from your message?
Alex, we love this country. We love our Constitution. It is our job as lawmakers, and especially in this moment, to be clear morally, to be clear legally, and simply and clearly stating what the law says, what the Uniform Code of Military Justice says. It's not a crime. It is not treason. It is not sedition. It is our job. And I think it's really important that we do our jobs in this moment.
All right, so did she answer the question? Like, listen to interview after interview of these people. They never do answer the question. They run around answering vaguely. This commander-in-chief, has threatened to. He never did. And yet you recorded a video. Now, it's fascinating to watch the reactions of people online about this. Fascinating. People who think that they did nothing wrong are the same people who cheered on when the Democrats were ranting about the fake insurrection of January 6th. It was fake. It wasn't won. But till today, they still cry about it, that it was an insurrection, the worst thing to happen to the United States since 9/11. All right, so it's unfortunate that that the United States is being made a fool of, not by President Trump, like many of them claim, but by these sitting Democrats. Now, here's Elisa Slotkin. Okay, now here she's going to be telling you exactly what happened, because she's asked a pointed question, and here's her answer.
So let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes and everything related to Venezuela.
Oh, nothing illegal, but you guys said that he was sending troops to attack to attack American citizens. That was what the video was really about. But here she is saying, well, nothing illegal about the things we accused him of doing in the video. Oh, but Venezuela. In other words, you guys are protecting narco terrorists. Well done, Democrats. Well done. You guys continue to outdo yourselves. When I think you've not gone far enough, you prove me right. All right. Let me know in the chat, okay, why did Democrats lie about illegal orders if their own members, the same people who did the videos, admit that there were none, that none existed? Let me know in the chat. All right. There are lots of things to unpack from this entire debacle. Lots of things. But in the end, time is our friend. And Representative Byron Donalds basically gives his reaction in this video, where he basically shreds his colleagues for making such a video.
That's a bunch. My view is we're going to continue to do everything we can to protect the coastline of Florida. This is something where the people of our state, frankly, just don't want oil drilling off of Florida's coast, and so we're going to work with the administration to make sure we continue to protect Florida.
Are you comfortable with President Trump's comments about Democratic lawmakers saying that they have engaged in seditious behavior?
Stop. They have engaged in seditious behavior. That mess you just heard over there about not being intimidated, no, the intimidation came from them when they launched their stupid video that nobody asked for, that nobody was talking about, to try to get clicks and likes. That's actually a bigger problem that's going on in this building behind me. Everybody wants to be a star now. Everybody wants to be on social media. Everybody wants to be on Fox. Everybody wants to be on CNN.
And they're getting their wish. We've already played several videos of them making the rounds on media, getting makeup put on, and saying how they did nothing wrong. Okay, so they're getting their wish.
The president is correct to call it out for what it is, because for them, and I honor their service to the nation before they came to Capitol Hill, but for them to now go out and tell our troops and the members of our intelligence community that it's okay to disobey orders, that's obscene. They would never tolerate anything like that when Joe Biden was president, when Barack Obama was president, when Bill Clinton was president. They would have never tolerated anything like that. So now they're going to feign outrage because Donald Trump responded to their words that do yield to insurrection? Please.
But the president has been...
Stop. No. And this is where I'm going to push back. Because what they are doing is trying to throw literally a grenade into the room.
Exactly.
It goes off, and then they're going to claim outrage? They have no moral standing to claim outrage because they decided that they were going to be cute and put out a TikTok video trying to get likes, trying to demonstrate that they're tough enough to stand up to President Trump when Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief, not Mr. Crow, not Senator Slotkin. They are not the commander-in-chief. And like I said before, they would not tolerate any Republican launching any video like that when Barack Obama was president of the United States. You know it's true. I know it's true. Everybody knows it's true. But now they want to feign outrage and have everybody come and ask them how they feel. Man, stop. We're tired of the games and the charade. The American people are looking for real answers on energy, on immigration, on affordability, but they want to be cute. So, yeah.
Look, I've said it again and again. The Democrats should call their representatives to order. Did you vote for your representatives to simply go after Trump for 4 years and not fight for your health care, for immigrants not to take your jobs? Look, guys, again, something that people keep saying, elections have consequences. When you elect buffoons, this is what you get. You have communities in Chicago where schools were converted to shelters for immigrants, illegal immigrants. Now, what happens to those kids who no longer have a school to attend? Now, I don't know if they've eventually been moved off those schools, but these are the kinds of decisions that these blue cities make, disenfranchising the voters. And you know what? It baffles me that the voters keep voting them back. Now, stay tuned, because the next story we're going to be covering is on election fraud. Because when you ask the question, why do these people keep getting reelected? It's very clear that there's a lot of fraud in the election system. Now, let's let Representative Byron Donalds complete his thoughts, and then we jump into the next story.
I'm not going to give them any standing about, well, how do they feel? That's BS. They knew what they were doing. They created a political stunt to get a response. And they didn't like the response.
In terms of what the president said, are you comfortable?
Yeah. Look, I think when it comes to Florida, we've been clear in our state. We do not want drilling off of our coastline. And so we're going to work with the administration to still protect Florida's coastline.
So, sure. Are you comfortable with what the president said, suggesting that members of Congress should be put to death?
What?
No, but
did the president suggest that members of Congress should be put to death, or did he simply point out the fact that when you do things like they did with the video, it's called sedition, and the laws on the books for military personnel is that it is punishable by death. There's a long imprisonment for people who are civilians. And most of the people who were on that video were ex-military. If you watch that video, they trotted out their credentials. They knew exactly what they were doing before they put out the video.
the president also said that they should have to be actually stand by, you have to investigate those words. What they're calling for is sedition. 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 Let me ask you a question. What are the penalties of sedition in the United States of America? What are they? The president's not calling for it, but they're the ones that started this foolishness. And I will grant you, this is a foolish political stunt created by people who are trying to get their name ID up, who are trying to demonstrate that somehow they're the standard bearers for our constitutional republic when their own words are in violation of our constitutional republic. You cannot have elected members. I don't care about your politics. This is not even a political deal anymore. You cannot have elected members tell our military men and women, tell the members of our intelligence community that you don't have to follow orders from the commander-in-chief. That is nuts. And as people who actually put the uniform on and serve this nation, they should know better. But they're playing politics. That's what's wrong.
Can I ask you about?
Yeah, so we're going to move on to the next story. All right. We've all talked about this. We've thought about it. If you've seen this story as it broke last week and over the weekend, it's been going on. We all know that this is, and it's outrageous. They should never have done it. If it was Obama, they would have essentially burned the whole country down, because they're like, look, you guys are being racist, or you guys are being partisan, and this is now is outrageous. And then you would have had all the actors trot out to give their very, very fiery speeches. Now, let me know what you think in the chat. Okay, should Congress censure every Democrat who encouraged military rebellion? Let me know in the chat. Now, if you think this was bad, just like I said earlier, wait till you see how Democrats plan to fix elections permanently in their favor. All right. Wesley Hunt just gave a speech explaining how the Democrats deprived Republicans, now say deprived because they cheated, all right, of getting 6 seats. All right. It's the biggest election interference scandal no one is talking about. All right, let's watch this.
American people and the census manipulation that Democrats have been using to influence American elections for years. In 2018, Republican leadership, including the president himself, called for a citizenship question to be included in the 2020 census reports. To no one's surprise, when the Democrats took control, these requests went unanswered, and the question of citizenship was waived. But the fact remains that the concept of sanctuary cities and radical blue states ignoring immigration law and using the illegal population to manipulate the lines of congressional districts is in fact unconstitutional. Not only are there severe constitutional concerns from the inclusion of illegal immigrants, but the Census Bureau admitted to having made several, quote, errors in their 2020 census report.
Now you notice that whenever some of these records are falsified or are grossly, let me use the term, grossly represented in favor of Democrats and they're caught, they're called errors. Okay, it's a play on words, but you know what, guys? This has been going on for a long time, for years and years and years, maybe over 100 years. We're just noticing because of social media and the internet. It's upsetting to just watch these videos and like, what on earth is going on? Why? How come we didn't know about these things? But it's interesting to watch these things develop and to see them getting caught.
Convenient, seeing that as in 2020, Donald Trump was on top of the ticket. In 2020, the Bureau undercounted in primarily deep red states such as Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Texas, all red, while overcounting in radical left blue states like Delaware, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, and Rhode Island. This egregious error led to many states being denied proper representation in Congress and the Electoral College. So much so that these errors cost Republicans not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 seats in the House.
Now imagine that. All right. Now, these are things that you will not see on mainstream media. It's not discussed because it's not convenient or it's not sexy enough. But these are the things that make elections, succeed or fail. If you have the National Census Board or Census Bureau deliberately miscounting the number of citizens in blue cities or communities and undercounting Republicans, it's a huge deal. It is a huge deal. It means that those regions will not get representation in Congress, and eventually it determines the Electoral College, and eventually presidential elections. It's very important for us to pay attention to these stories. All right. Now, my question now, should a future Trump administration take the time to correct illegal census distortions? It's one thing to catch these things, but can they be corrected? And if they can, should they be corrected? We've seen Democrats lose their mind whenever these corrections are threatened. And they scream, Trump is trying to rig the elections whenever something is being done that basically exposes the Democrats. For example, you need an ID before you vote. How is that a big issue? Oh no, you guys are trying to, it's a racist thing because people in minority communities don't know the way to the DMV to get ID. Like, these are the kinds of things that you hear, and you need to be able to catch these hypocrisies when they pop up. All right. In California, they've essentially outlawed IDs at polling centers to enable them carry out their plans. So let me know in the chat if you think that Trump should consider correcting these illegal census distortions, or a future president who may be able to do that. All right. Now, Democrats have their next plan lined up, and Swalwell has begun to make his rounds. Do you know what he's asking to be normalized? All right. Voting with your phones. Let's have a listen to his very brilliant plan. I mean, it's genius. Why didn't we think of it?
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian
Vote by phone.
Vote by phone. Yeah, if we can do our taxes, do our make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone. make it safe, make it secure, but it's actually already happening all over the United States. I want us to be a blue state that doesn't do just a little bit better than like Georgia or Alabama when it comes to like voting access. I want us to max out democracy. Also, as it relates to democracy, if you wait in line for 30 minutes or more, if you do want to vote in person, I think you should fine every county for every minute that a person has to wait longer. We have to be better, not just a little bit better than the other states. The DMV. I don't think Californians should have to go in person to the DMV anymore. I think we can do that virtually. I think you can have the DMV employees do it virtually, but that's a lot of real estate.
Is that the most popular position?
Digitize the DMV. Digitize the DMV.
Yeah.
We can modernize the state, and I look forward to bringing these ideas to Californians.
All right. So if you know anything about the internet and you know anything about bots and how there are bot farms, and when you go to some of these bot farms, all you see are phones slaved to each other, connected to a computer and running programs on these phones, making them act like people. So whenever you go to X and you do a post and you have a bunch of people with strange user IDs or usernames attacking you and trolling you and bullying you online, it's very likely that that's a bot. Now, Swalwell is trying to say, let's open up phone voting. Well, you guys haven't been able to deal with bots yet, okay? And then you want to open that possibility of bots voting for whoever they like. That is going to be a complete disaster. Well, Democrats are doing their very best to ensure that, well, he says, he wants to unleash democracy. Yeah, right. Anyway, all of this paints a very clear picture. All right, now here's the question I want you to answer. Okay, you've heard Swalwell give us his fantastic messianic suggestion about voting in California, and of course they are going to push it to the rest of the United States if it takes root in California. Now, here's my question. Would phone voting destroy election integrity, in your opinion? I've given you my opinion. It's just my opinion. What do you think? All right. Now, all of this paints a clear picture of why Democrats are failing and why President Trump continues to win from the asinine, insane ideas that they come up with and try to pass off as revolutionary and groundbreaking. And some of the crazy situations where we find of Democrats being caught again and again and again, engaging in relationships with despots and dictators in communist countries, with China. And then we see them also engaging in corruption at egregious levels. And then they claim that they are for democracy and that the other party is corrupt and the party of billionaires and corporations, while they are the ones handing billions and billions to insurance companies when President Trump wants to give that money to the families, to American citizens to decide where they want their health care to come. All right, so here's what we covered in this episode. We exposed Democrats' corruption, Maxine Waters, Castro connection, AOC admitting Democrats want to hurt Americans. Oh, geez. Well, we did see that she was trying to accuse the Republicans of doing that. And then we have Hakeem Jeffries siding with big insurance, Jason Crow's military defiance humiliation, and the census manipulation stealing House seats in favor of the Democrats, and Swalwell's push for phone-based voter fraud. This was a huge episode. And all the while, a Trump operative, Scott Bessent, destroyed the inflation narrative. So today we showed exactly why Trump keeps on winning and Democrats keep failing, and why Trump's common sense policies continue to resonate with Americans demanding law, order, and accountability. Let's look forward to seeing what the case with the House Democrats looks like, because that case looks very interesting. And let's see more of the outrage coming from the Democrat Party. I'm here for it, and I hope you stick around for it. Now, I'm going to dive into the chat section. Now, let me know in the chat what you think about the way we've gone through the stories. All right, we've gone through the stories before jumping into the chat to help us stay focused and have everything concise. I'd like to know if you enjoyed that flow. There are people who couldn't stay till the end because they were on their lunch break and lunch is over and they had to go back. So I acknowledge that. But thank you for sending in your chat. So here's the first chat from Lauren R for I4V. Trump's approval rating has fallen to -17 in the latest Fox News poll. Only 15% say he has helped the economy. Yeah, because now I don't know what the metrics are for those people who took the polls, and to be honest, I did explain earlier in the show that the issue always is about the turnaround time for these policies. Some of these policies take hold in weeks, like the effects take hold in weeks, according to what Scott Bessent explained, and some others take months to see. So, yeah, you can have a negative polling on the economy because you're not seeing or feeling the effects of these policies just yet. It's fine. He has negative polling. He also has negative pollings because of the Epstein situation. So, yeah. And then Lauren again piles on and says he pardoned the J6 rioters who were arrested. Okay, so J6 rioters were arrested last week. Andrew Johnson was charged with sexual abuse of an 11-year-old. John Banuelos charged with kidnapping and aggravated sexual assault. No, look, here's what you need to understand. Okay, pardoning someone for something that was related to an egregious, let me use the term, prosecution of people who were protesting, and the questionable nature of the entire January 6th situation allowed for him to say, okay, look, there's a problem with this entire picture. Let's pardon everyone. Okay. I would say mistakes can and will be made. Would you rather put everyone in jail, including people who don't have criminal records? All right. If you would love to do that, then it's up to you. But whenever you're making decisions like that, President Trump is going to make mistakes. He's going to drop the ball, and we're going to call him out on dropping the ball. Oh, look, J6 rioters who were arrested, and this one did this and this did the other thing. Okay, fine, they did. They've been rearrested, and President Trump is not going to pardon them. They're going to go to jail, and they're going to pay for these crimes. Okay, so bringing it up as a gotcha. Nice try, but it is what it is. Okay, Canary King. Again, I said people watch this live stream during their lunch break, and they usually can't stay all through. All right. Who's the guy in the picture? He's a snappy dresser. I'm not sure who you're referring to. Is it Byron Donalds? Is it Swalwell? I'm not sure who you're asking about. All right, so let's jump over to the comment section. All right, so over here on the comments section, we have a reaction to this story. Hakeem Jeffries has meltdown over CNBC fact check. This was the live stream we had on Friday, and we're going to cover several comments. The Democrat Party isn't exactly known as a brain trust. They don't need to be, apparently. Their voting base are the uneducated, criminals, and illegal aliens. Just offer them free stuff. You don't even have to deliver after they vote for you because they have the collective memory of a fruit fly. All right, so let me know what you think of this comment. Okay. This let's see. I don't know what this commenter was referring to, so I'm just going to skip on by. Another comment on Friday's live stream. Who does this liberal think he is, lying to everyone? Oh, sorry, I misread that. Who does this liberal think he is lying to? Everyone knows what you are about. Socialist liberals, we the American voters support US President Trump now and for all his term in the White House. Go lie to someone else. I assume he's referring to Hakeem Jeffries. All right. All right. Someone is liking the live stream. Yeah, so I'm going to be stopping here. All right. I'm going to try and limit the number of comments I take. We will keep our show within the hour mark. All right, so Canary King says the previous picture, that was Representative Byron Donalds. He's a representative from Florida, and he is planning to run for governor of Florida. All right, so let's look at the polls. All right, on the main channel, I put up a poll, and the question was, would vote by phone destroy election integrity? On the main channel, 67% said yes, 33% said it depends on security. And on the backup channel, we had 50% saying yes, and 50% said elections are already compromised. All right, so thank you guys for taking the polls, and thank you for sticking around for our show. All right, guys, so I want to thank you so much for being a part of today's episode. We're going to be back again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will be covering more news and stories, and we will be engaging in the chat. If you've stayed this long, or if you've watched this long, thank you so much for supporting us with your eyeballs and with your chat and with your comments. If you feel like you're feeling a little generous, consider supporting us with a donation using the link in the chat, or by joining our membership. It's a monthly membership that allows you to have access. For example, when we create videos, it goes to the members first. We will be having members-only live streams activating soon. And currently, members have the ability to join as members of the panel as we react to the news and break down the stories for ourselves. So I'd like to invite you to please consider, and if you haven't, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps out a whole lot. All right, so we're going to be ending right away. Thank you so much for being a part of this show, and we will be seeing you on the next one. Until next time, God bless you. Welcome to Headlines and History, live news reactions and your views. We're about to go live soon, so grab your spot and get ready for a sharp, balanced take on today's biggest news stories with a dash of historical insight. Stay tuned. Each week, we tackle the headlines that matter: politics, economics, global events with a balanced lens. We'll react live, tie today's stories to historical moments, and spotlight your views in the chat. From trade talks echoing the 1990s to crises recalling 2008, we're here to unpack it all. Your voice drives the show. Share your thoughts or historical parallels in the live chat, and we'll dive into the best ones. It's news, context, and community all in 1 hour. We're moments away from launching Headlines and History. Stick around for live reactions, historical nuggets, and your chance to chime in. Hit the notification bell, prep your comments, and let's make sense of the news together.